For day 2, I want to show you how to work with basics of watercolors in a more creative way. So here is my sketchbook and I'm opening not just next spread, but a little bit more. My butterfly wing outlines are here, and for them I will need 2 paper sheets that I will take out and outline butterfly wings and cut out. This is going to be a creative way, and then we will have some extra here and something extra here. So 2 full spreads from this sketchbook. You can do, of course, only half as you wish. Here I have now both wing parts, and I outline with ink marker because I want to have here visible border outline for these butterflies. And this is just a creative way of how I will show. It's not necessary to do this, and with an elastic eraser I'm rolling over to remove excess amount of graphite. And why do we need this basic practice for watercolors? Because there's still, even if you already are painting maybe for some while, but there still comes this question, how many water should I use? Is it too watery or is it too dry? Why the layer isn't smooth? Why the colors don't blend? So on these butterfly wings, I will show you my approach of how I do water control, how I apply first layer, and how I mix watercolors on the surface so they blend beautifully. And cutting out. Maybe I will cut wings out when I will apply water. Yeah, first I will apply watercolors and then I will cut out. Ceramic palette. I need 2 glasses of water. One is for mixing, other for applying clean layers. Watercolors. Round synthetic brush and paper towel. These butterfly wings have 2 parts, and together we have 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I will apply on upper part of the wing. We will mix blue with yellow. On the second, I will do another 2 pigments and so on. So now the paper is completely dry. Before applying water to paper, I will start with adding watercolors to my palette, and I'm not going with clean pigment straight to paper. Even if you are painting with clean pigment, first you need to apply it on your palette. So I wash my brush. I'm taking ultramarine blue that I will be using, and I apply it here a little bit more because we have a bigger surface to work on. A little bit more water. Now I'm washing my brush and I'm taking yellow and washing brush. Now I will be using this clean water for my clean first layers. Loading brush with water, so it is a little bit drippy. Also because the surface is quite big that I need to apply water on. When I'm applying first layer of water to my area that I will be working on, I spread water evenly. There are no puddles. I will lift my paper and will show you. So the surface should be moist, but not watery. Like, you can lift your paper and there are no puddles, nothing will drip. I can work like this, even on a stand, and that's gonna be workable. So everything is even. I'm loading my brush with pigment. And outer part of this butterfly is going to be blue. Spreading transparently. Carefully with edges. Surface is still moist. Washing my brush, taking yellow pigment and applying on the opposite side. Pushing towards the blue without not over mixing them both too hard. As I dip my brush in water, I remove excess amount in paper towel. It is always with me in the opposite hand. So the surface is still moist, and I can add a little bit more pigment. And carefully push it towards the lightest part. I want to have there a little bit blue. If your surface is dry already, you need to apply a little bit more water. And we have visibly yellow part and blue part, and very light green here where they meet. I haven't overmix them. If I would go back and forth to the blue and to the yellow, then it would be overmixed and would appear green, because yellow mixed with blue becomes green. But as I did it lightly with few brush strokes, you can see that there's visibly yellow and visibly blue part, and they beautifully, smoothly interact in the middle. Now, I will not be painting this right now. I want to wait for this part to dry, because then they can, watercolors can bleed to the other side. So I will take this butterfly wing and do another part. Same approach, starting with water. First mistake. What I didn't do, I didn't load pigment first. Why it's important to load pigment first? Because, for example, now I would cover everything with water and then start applying pigment. Then the surface will dry by the moment when I would add pigment here and start adding there. So let it dry. For the second, I will be using pink pigment. So I'm taking pink. And I will use same yellow. I have a lot of yellow here. And now back to my butterfly wing. Apply water. Sequence is important. It's not just because I want it that way, because it works best that way. Spreading water evenly so there are no puddles. Again, lifting paper, no puddles. Starting with pink on the outer side. Loading a little bit more. Transparently, watercolors are a transparent medium and they require painting transparently in order to show all the beauty of watercolors. Now I'm taking yellow on the opposite side, clean yellow, and slowly with few brush strokes pushing towards yellow, pink part. Do not overmix. They can mix a little bit, creating pink, peachy color. And while it's still wet, I want to add a little bit more of pink here. And very lightly push pink towards the yellow now. A little bit more on upper part. No hard rubbing, no hard pushing again. Hold your tools lightly. That will also result in lighter brush strokes. And for the first layers, such lightness is perfect. Of course, if the subject would be a very light flower or a white butterfly, that would be a different story. That's it for this wing. For this part, this is already dry, slightly moist. You can see that paper. Here you see a little bit that this bump, meaning if the paper has a slight bump on its surface, it means that it's haven't dried completely. For example, I would not go add details right now because it's still moist, but I can work on this part and watercolors will not bleed into the upper part of wing. I have on my palette blue and pink, so I want to use these pigments, and it really doesn't matter which pigments you here use. You can experiment as you wish. You can try different pigment combinations, see how they blend into each other, because in nature there's so many variations. And when you have pigments on your palette, so avoid wasting, I want to use them up. So starting again with water. Water just enough so watercolors can be moved. They're not bleeding, moving by themselves. I am controlling them, and that's important. When you have puddles on the paper surface, that's when mess start to happen, uncontrolled watercolor leaks, because you are not in control where they are going. But moisture on the paper should be that you are controlling watercolors. Again, no puddles, nothing drips. Taking blue. Where I push watercolors, you can see that they stop there. They just stop there. That's what I say, that they are not uncontrollably floating where they wish, but where I push them. I'm pushing a little bit further, washing my brush, cleaning in paper towel, loading with pink, and applying pink on the lower part. Very lightly push pink into the blue. Now I can take a little bit of blue and push towards pink. Also, my movements follow the growth of wings. For example, this is the center of butterfly, if that would be a butterfly, and you see veins. These lines are veins, butterfly wing veins, and they grow from the center to, so I'm not, my brush strokes are not straight like this or like this. I follow the growth and flow of butterfly veins and direction of wings. It's also important. That creates an illusion and visually more eye appealing. So here I have both wings and I'm placing them back in my sketchbook. You can do other side as well, it's up to you. And here I have a nice butterfly in my sketchbook. Oh, I missed the page, not the right one. And now it's up to you. You can, so as I told you, you can do the same here. So you have more watercolor mixes. Maybe I will see. I want to show here a cycle of butterfly life. Maybe some interesting facts about butterfly I will write, maybe on the wings. So further, this spread is up to you. You can do more of these butterfly wings in your sketchbook, but be careful so the sketchbook don't fly away from you. So this is more about playing with watercolors, different colors, different pigment combinations and how they mix it. This is a wonderful practice for mixing, for smooth layers, for water control, for applying two colors, like here we did two very opposite pigments, and looking so they're not over mixing together. So yes, this is a wonderful practice in so many ways, and hope you will enjoy this day. Here is my result of day 2. What I have created is some very interesting facts about butterfly life, and I'm always fascinated when I'm doing these challenges. I am learning something new, and that is so interesting. Then I have these wings. I also wrote part of the wings, their names, and very basic cycle of butterfly lifespan, how it is and how long each stage takes place. Always a learning part, and also painting technique part, where we explored water control, smoothness, layers, mixing two different colors. And as you can see, I did both sides, and this is where both quite intense pigments, and they are not over mixed together. Especially this is a tricky one, because when green mixed together with red, it becomes quite instantly brown. But if you do it very lightly with few brush strokes, then I don't have brown in the middle. I have nice transition from red to green. So this is a really nice practice to do. Here I took indigo, which is also a very strong pigment, together with pink, and they are also not over mixed. So hope you will have fun with day 2. I certainly did, and really happy with my very simple but still effective results.